Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down Tony Robbins' really powerful framework for creating happiness that actually lasts. And look, this isn't about just slapping a smile on your face. It's about rewiring your inner world so you can really thrive, even when life throws its worst at you.
So let's just dive right into the central puzzle, right? Our whole society teaches us that if you achieve more, if you succeed, you get all the stuff. You'll finally be happy. But as a lot of us know from experience, and as Robbins points out, that's just not how it works a lot of the time.
To get to the bottom of this, Robbins didn't just sit back and theorize. Nope, he went straight to the people who had supposedly won the game of life. He actually sat down with 50 self-made billionaires. We're talking about people who have reached the absolute peak of what we call success. And out of those 50 people who had literally everything you could imagine, he judged that only 4 of them were truly, genuinely happy. Just 4. I mean, that stat alone tells you everything. The secret to a fulfilling life clearly isn't found in what you pile up on the outside.
Okay, so if getting more stuff and more success isn't the answer, then what is? Well, the journey really starts with this powerful metaphor he uses, learning how to handle life's tough times, or what he calls winter.
We all have these winter seasons, right? It could be a financial problem, a relationship issue, or, just feeling stuck in a funk. But here's the key idea. These moments aren't just things to get through. They are the actual opportunities we have to build real inner strength, to re-engineer who we are and become way more resilient. And that leads us to the absolute core of this entire way of thinking. Your experience of life, how you feel day to day, isn't determined by what happens to you. It's determined by the emotional state you choose to live in.
Think about it like this. You can't control the weather outside, right? But you can absolutely control the thermostat inside your own house. It's the same idea. You can't always control the world out there, but you have total control over what you focus on and the meaning you give to things. Robbins calls it changing the channel, making a conscious choice to shift from a state of suffering to what he calls a beautiful state.
So you're probably asking, okay, how do I actually change the channel? Well, it's a 3-step habit. First, you start with acceptance, and I mean radical acceptance, of reality just as is, not how you wish it was. From that place, you can find something, anything, to appreciate about the situation. And once you find that little seed of appreciation, you can grow it into a state of real gratitude, which literally changes your body's biochemistry.
So where do we go from there? Well, once you get the hang of managing your internal state, you can start to pursue different kinds of happiness. And here's the thing. According to Robbins, not all happiness is created equal. There are really 3 different levels.
Just look at how this progresses. At the first level, you've got rockstar happiness. This is pure pleasure. Getting the thing you want. It feels great, but it's super fleeting. Then you can level up to passion. This is deeper. It's that feeling of flow, where you're just lost in something you love to do. But the most durable, the longest-lasting form of happiness is purpose. This is when you're serving something bigger than yourself. That creates a kind of fulfillment that doesn't just disappear.
So, if happiness is an internal choice, and we have these clear paths to find it, what's the biggest thing that gets in our way? What's the enemy inside that keeps us stuck in suffering?
Well, part of the problem is just our own biology. Seriously, we're running on software that's about 2 million years old. Your brain's #1 job isn't to make you happy. Its job is to make sure you survive. And what does that mean? It means it has this incredibly strong negative bias. It's constantly scanning for threats, for what's wrong, for anything that could possibly hurt you. But, while our ancient brain wiring definitely primes us for negativity, Robbins argues that the single greatest killer of our happiness, day in and day out, is one specific mental trap that we all fall into. And it's this: our expectations. This is so crucial. Just think about it for a second. What makes you angry? What makes you frustrated or sad? It's almost always because there's a gap between how things are and how you think they should be. My partner should be more thoughtful. My boss should have given me credit. Life shouldn't be this hard. That gap, that's where all the suffering lives. Okay, so if our rigid, unspoken rules for how the world is supposed to work are the problem, then the solution has to be in changing them, right? What Robbins suggests is that we trade in our fairy tale expectations for what he calls an authentic expectation. And what is that? It just means accepting that people are going to do what they do. They're going to act based on their own beliefs, their own habits, their own needs, not based on the rule book you wrote for them in your head. And this right here, this is the ultimate freedom in this whole idea. Lasting happiness doesn't come from finally getting everyone around you to behave the right way. It comes from letting go of the need for them to do that in the first place. The moment you release that demand that other people must act a certain way for you to feel okay, that's the moment you take back control of your own happiness.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to chew on. If all our suffering comes from that gap between reality and our expectations, what is one should that you could just let go of right now? What piece of frustration or anger could you just let dissolve, simply by accepting things as they are instead of demanding they be something else?